You don't choose your reactions. They happen before you decide anything, before you think, before you explain, before you understand. Something occurs and the body responds. A tightening, a surge, a withdrawal, a push. Only afterward does the mind arrive. And when it does, it tells a story that says, I reacted because, I felt this because, I chose to respond this way, but the sequence is already over. The reaction came first. This is difficult to accept because it challenges the idea of control. You like to believe that you decide how you feel, that you choose how to respond. But in most moments, emotion does not wait for permission. It appears automatically. Not because you are weak, not because you lack discipline, but because the emotional system is faster than thought. It evolved to be. Emotion scans for meaning and threat before the mind can analyze. It prepares the body before you can reason. So by the time you are thinking, the reaction is already in motion. This is why telling yourself to calm down rarely works. The instruction arrives too late. The body is already responding to something it believes is real. And the mind's job, most of the time, is not to decide. It is to justify. The emotional system does not ask, is this true? It asks, is this familiar? It compares the present moment to stored experiences, patterns, memories, past reactions. And if something matches, the reaction is triggered automatically. This is why the same situation can produce different reactions in different people, because the reaction is not about what is happening now. It is about what this moment resembles: the tone of a voice, a look, a delay, a silence. Small cues can activate old emotional responses, not consciously. You don't decide to tense. You don't decide to feel threatened. You don't decide to shut down. It happens. And because it happens so quickly, it feels like truth. This feels bad. This feels dangerous. This feels wrong. But feeling is not evidence. Feeling is activation. The body preparing for something based on prediction. By the time the mind notices, the emotion has already shaped perception. Now the mind sees selectively. It looks for confirmation. It builds a narrative. This reaction makes sense. I was right to feel this way, and the loop completes itself. Reaction, story, identity. You say, this is just how I am. But what you are seeing is a conditioned response mistaken for character. The problem is not emotion. Emotion is information. The problem is immediacy, when reaction and identity collapse into one. When you don't notice that something happened first. Because if you believe you chose the reaction, you also believe you are responsible for it. So you defend it, you justify it, you cling to it, you don't examine it. And because you don't examine it, it repeats again and again. The same trigger, the same reaction, the same explanation. Over time, this becomes predictable, not just to you, but to others. People start to know how you will react before you do. That predictability is not personality, it is automation. And automation is efficient, but it is not free. The cost is flexibility. When reactions happen instantly, there is no space, no pause, no choice, only momentum. And momentum feels like necessity. This is just how it is. This couldn't have gone differently. But that certainty is created after the fact. The reaction convinces you it was inevitable. Yet inevitability is a story told by emotion after it has already acted. So where does change happen? Not by controlling emotion. That only creates resistance. The shift happens in noticing sequence. Reaction first, explanation later. The moment you see that order, something loosens. You may still feel the reaction, the body may still respond, but now there is a fraction of space, a moment where you realize, this is happening. This started before I decided. That realization matters, because awareness does not stop emotion. It stops identification. You no longer say, I am this reaction. You say a reaction is occurring. That difference is subtle, but it changes your relationship to what you feel. You don't suppress it. You don't act it out immediately. You observe it. And observation slows momentum. Not instantly, but enough. Enough to respond instead of react. Enough to see options that were invisible before. This is not control. It is clarity. The reaction may still arise, but it no longer defines you. And when reaction stops defining identity, freedom begins to appear, quietly, without effort. This is inner cognition,